Hello everyone, this is Nick with coopcritics.com and welcome back to another Minecraft Redstone tutorial. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to build a melon and pumpkin farm. There are a lot of different types of melon and pumpkin farms out there. This one is my own variation on ones that other people have built in the past. Specifically, Mumbo Jumbo has built a tower design similar to this, but mine is a little bit different and I'll explain why in a second. If you look down here, this piston right here that we're looking at is actually a bud switch. And so once a pumpkin or melon actually grows onto that spot, the bud switch is activated and that activates all of these other pistons. So I use a single bud switch to power all of the pistons as opposed to using a hopper timer. So let's go ahead and get started. In this tutorial I'm only going to be showing you how to build one of these farms. They are identical in every way, so if you know how to build one, you'll know how to build the other. So the first thing we want to do is set out a 5x5 square, and we're going to go ahead and put our chest down in front of that 5x5 square, and that's going to be our collection point, and we're going to run hoppers from that chest. 1, 2, 3 hoppers, and now this hopper is in the very center of that 5x5. So that is going to be our collection point. They're going to run into that hopper all the way over here to this chest. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill in this area with blocks all around it. Now I'm going to take dirt blocks and I'm going to fill in a 3x3 square around this, leaving a hole in the center for our collection point. Around that I'm going to place another ring of these blocks. And now starting from the front, I'm going to place regular pistons facing in there, 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 and there. And on this back piston, the opposite side from the chest, I'm going to place a second piston next to that piston facing up. And I'm going to put a sand block on top of that. Then I'm going to place another block right next to it with a comparator coming out of that sand block. On top of this piston on the other side, I'm going to place a furnace. Now inside of this furnace, I'm going to place 14 of any block. It doesn't matter. You can use dirt, you can use cobblestone, whatever. And that is just going to provide the signal to this comparator. From the comparator, we're going to go a block up like this, block over, and then blocks running along the back like that. And then we're going to take our redstone. Let me get rid of the furnace there. We're going to take our redstone and run it from here to there. Then with a repeater going out, we're going to run our redstone from here to there. So this is essentially our bud switch. Now if I place down some sand, you can see that it immediately triggers. So now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to run the power from this bud switch to the towers that we're going to use to power the rest of these pistons. So from this block right here, we're going to go a block down like this. We're going to go another block down and then a block up and then another block down and then another block up right there. And so we're going to run redstone dust here, a repeater right there, redstone dust here, and then 2 torches, one here and one here. And then we're going to go ahead and build this up as our torch tower like this. So we'll put a block on top of that torch, block on top of that torch, and then inside of here we'll place a single torch like that, and then a block on top of that, and 2 torches on the outside right here. And we're just going to repeat this on up, and we're going to do, for this build we're only going to do 3 levels of these pistons, but you can do this infinite. You can do this as tall as you want to do it, but each single block that has 2 torch will be where pistons are. So this is now at 2 levels. We'll build one more level up. Put a block on top of that torch, and then our torches on either side. So now we should have 3 levels of that going up, and we're going to do the same over here, but this side's going to be a little bit different. So whatever side the bud switch has the piston with the sand block on it, the opposite side we're going to remove this piston. This is very important because how pumpkins and melons grow, we're going to be putting them in the corners over here. So real quick I'll show you how this goes. So we'll do melons and we'll say that we're going to grow our melons in the corners right here. So you plant there, there. You can see as I did that it updated there and there. So now how they can grow is it's possible for a melon to grow right here and right here, and these vines be attached to those melons without one growing right there. Since this is our only bud switch, we want to ensure that at least one melon is going to grow in this space. So what we're going to do is we're going to place a block of glass, or it could be any block, it doesn't have to be glass, but I'm placing glass because I like to be able to see through it. So I'm going to place a block of glass right there. So that's going to ensure that this melon, when it grows, it has to grow there. So even if this one chooses to grow on this patch, this one has to grow on the bud switch, so it's going to definitely operate it. So now let's continue on to this torch tower. We're going to place a block down like that from there, then we're going to place a block up like that, and then another block up right there. And so how this is going to work is we're going to place some redstone dust right there, and then a repeater right here, and then our torches on the other side of this block like that. And so what we're doing is we're skipping this level. The other reason for this is because you can't have a torch powering this block, this bud switch right here, or it's going to mess up the whole contraption. So that kind of hits two birds with one stone there. So now we're going to continue up, and the rest of these layers will have 4 pistons for the rest of the way up. So right now I'm going to just go ahead and finish out this torch tower to the same height as the other one. Put a redstone torch there, block on top, redstone torches there, and there we go. They're all the way up. So now I'm just going to place pistons facing in next to each of these torches. This is kind of hard on Xbox to get it to line up there. So all of these torches that are facing the pistons should be powered off. If yours are powered on, then you've done something wrong. Go back and make sure you got everything right. And so now from here on up, we're going to go ahead and put our dirt blocks one level below all these pistons. So starting right here, oops, can't do it right there because it's a furnace, so we'll click into it. But we just make a ring around like this, then we'll go up one more level and finish this one out. Alright, and so now we want to take our hoe and our melon seeds and till the soil on all these corners and plant our melon seeds down. I'm bone milling these so that they will just grow a little bit faster. You do not have to do this. They will grow on their own without bone meal. And now what I like to do is fill in the rest of this area around this with green stained glass. It doesn't have to be green stained glass. You can just use regular glass if you want. But what I find is it helps keep the melons and pumpkins from flying out here. Sometimes they'll get caught in the pistons and they want to kind of fly out. So don't place a block next to this piston, the bud switch piston. Leave that open, and then we're going to do that right there. And then you can place a block above where that piston is like that, but we're going to leave that other block open. And we're just going to continue around like this. And so now over here, the only things you need to keep in mind is do not cover up this sand block, because that piston has to be able to push the sand block up. So you can go one level above that. So just leave this block space right there, leave a gap right there, and that will be okay. Now let's put a roof on it. And I like to leave a hole in the middle right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a bucket of water, place it right in this hole, and it's going to flow straight down between all of those. And what it's going to do is it's going to keep all this dirt, all these dirt blocks that are tilled, it's going to keep them watered, and it's also going to help with the collection. So when these pistons push the melons or the pumpkins out, they're going to push them into this water stream, and so it's going to be a lot less likely that you lose any melons and pumpkins. The final thing we're going to do is we're going to create an override switch, and this will also help us test it. So what we're going to do is we're going to place a piston, a regular piston, face up right here with a sand block on top of it, and then we're going to place a block right there, and we'll put a lever on it. So now when I pull this lever, that piston's going to go up, and all of the pistons look like they fired. All this is doing is it's updating that bud switch from behind. And so this override switch is good because you can come up, and if you have a lot of pumpkins or melons on there, but there hasn't been one on the bud switch to grow in a little bit, and you need some right now, you can go back here and hit this override switch, and you see all those pistons fired all the way up. And I'll show you this over here, because what I've done is I've built these next to each other, and all I've done is put that override switch right there with redstone running into both of these pistons. And so I can come over here and I can hit this override switch like that, and both of these towers will fire, and all the drops will come down in here and over here. You can see they're going in right now. You'll see even with our little tower right here that we just built, you can come down here and look in the chest, and it's already collected 14 melons since we've been here. And again, if you need to, you can come back here and flip this override switch, or you can run a switch all the way out on this side. And with the lever, you only need to flip it once, because each time that block goes up or down, it's updating. So you only need to flip the lever once, and it's going to update, and then you don't have to flip it again until you're ready to override it. You can see the bud switch on the pumpkin tower just fired automatically, meaning that this will constantly run while you're nearby, and you will always have a fresh supply of pumpkins and melons. This is a great little farm that can be used automatically or manually, and I had a lot of fun putting this build together. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, please let me know by leaving a comment below, and share this video with your friends who also enjoy Minecraft. And as always, subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and I will see you next time. Bye! There we go. Alright, sheep, you're free. Beef. Oh.
Some freedom.
Let that be a lesson to you.
Free of life.
Freedom isn't free.